like to begin by singing a hymn that's based on the psalm that we'll be going to next after Psalm 30, Psalm 57. So Harry helps us, where we'll sing and pray this psalm. Okay, I'd like to finish Psalm 30. So we're focusing on the latter part of the psalm, but let's just look at it again. First of all, the lament part. How long, O Lord, will you forget me completely, or entirely, or utterly, or forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long will I have pain in my soul, my throat, sorrow or agony in my heart daily? How long will my enemy be high over me? Look, answer me, O Lord my God, give light to my eyes, or I'll sleep the sleep of death. And my enemy will say, I've defeated him, I've overcome him, I've won the victory over him. And my foes will rejoice or be glad because I am shaken or destabilized. Even though I trusted in your loving kindness, My heart will rejoice in your deliverance, your rescue, your victory, all in that word. I will sing about the Lord because he has treated. I will sing about the Lord, and this is my song. He has treated me well. After the lament comes
Camera wasn't on.
It wasn't either. Okay, Josh is really on holiday. So, 3 petitions. Is the thing on now?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, Hevitha, very strong, emphatic imperative. Look, consider. I don't know if any of you watched Kath and Kim. Kath used to say, "Look at me." I can't say, take notice of me. Don't overlook. We talk about overlooking. This is the opposite of overlooking. Looking with favour, noticing. So it's a plea for consideration, but also then for acceptance. Look in a way that considers me, accepts me, and is concerned. Probably the English word concern comes close to it, although it's a bit flat and it's overused. This is very concrete. Just look, take notice of me. And then, secondly, answer me, which is answer my prayer. Respond to my lament. And it's not just answer my prayer, but answer me. Respond to me. Respond to my situation. So it's a plea then for a favourable word from God as his God. Now, answer me is very often a plea for God to give an oracle, that he speaks a word in return. Now, normally, the Israelites, every time they go to the temple, receive the benediction, the Aaronic benediction, a part of it, which is the Lord make his face, his countenance shine upon you. Now, this is the reversal of that. So instead of just you shining on me, make my eyes shine. Now, there's a lot of use of body imagery and body symbolism in Hebrew. Very few abstractions. So there's lots of idioms which have to do with the face, and particularly the eyes, as the most significant and telling part of a person's face. If you want to see the state of a person, by the way, this is a very good hint for you in your pastoral care, don't just listen to what people say, have a look at their eyes. The eyes betray, or, that's negative, display the state of the person. If you're going to be a good pastor, you need to read people's eyes, and by reading their eyes, you will have windows into their souls. Very, very important in counselling, but in many different situations. And very often what people say and what they show will be at odds with each other. The idea here is, and it's a very acute observation, is that the more healthy and more vital a person is, the brighter their eyes. And if you're sick, your eyes go dull. And if you've ever seen a person die, it's very tangible. The light goes out of their eyes. The eyes become dull. They lose their shining. We see eyes as sort of windows. People in the ancient world saw eyes as lamps. So we see eyes as receptacles to take in the light. They see eyes as kind of reaching out and shining into outside. Which, by the way, is not a in real phenomenal terms, in terms of phenomena, is not a bad observation. So there's a plea then for revitalization and restoration of full health. The person is sick or unwell, threatened by death. Okay, now there's a plea for revitalization. And then there are 3 reasons given for the 3 petitions. The first reason is that if God doesn't look, answer, enlighten, now you go backwards, there's a kind of reversal, an inversion, shine, then the psalmist will die. He will sleep the sleep of death. So the psalm will die without God's intervention. As I said last week, the assumption here is that God has no interest in a dead person. He is only used for a living person. And God has an interest, if you like, to keep people alive. The second reason is if God doesn't intervene and answer the psalmist, then the enemy will win the victory. The enemy will defeat the psalmist. And likewise, this is against God's interest, because the psalmist belongs to God, and God will have been lost, if you like, the battle. That's the assumption. And then most tellingly and most helpfully, it goes a little bit further than there, and says, all my foes will rejoice because I am shaken, even though I trusted in your loving kindness. The attack of the foes is not just an attack on the psalmist, but attack on the psalmist's faith in God. And not just faith in God generally, but faith in God's grace, his loving kindness. The psalmist depends on God for loving kindness. That's faith, mercy, grace, charity. The attack is on the faith of the psalmist. So the foes then will rejoice at his downfall. Why? Because he's shaken the trust of the psalmist in God's generosity, and in a sense he's won the victory not only over the psalmist but over God himself. Yes?
Can I just ask you, with the numbering, you're following the Hebrew numbering of verses? In Hebrew, God.
Yes, I'm following the Hebrew numbering verses. Okay. Yes, because I'm working with the Hebrew text. Okay, that's always the case. I should have explained. By the way, if you think in terms of spiritual warfare, New Testament, what's Satan's basic attack on every believer? What's his number one strategy?
Well, to make you follow the way.
What?
Make you think that what you're doing is the way of God. It's the means that you go about doing God's will.
That's only a preliminary strategy. What's the ultimate aim of
Guilt?
Guilt he hasn't got in you yet. He uses your guilt to do what? What? Well, he still has that still not there yet. What does he want to destroy? Your faith. That's always an attack on faith. There's 2 attacks basically, fundamentally. Attack on faith, attack on love. Now, you won't understand what's happening to you spiritually unless you see that that's the basic tactic. All the other things are preliminaries to the attack on your faith, your confidence in God, his promises, his grace. Okay? Can you see what's at stake here? If God doesn't intervene, then Satan wins the victory, destroys his faith in God. And then the psalm concludes with a vow of praise, which is also the beginning of praise, praise which anticipates God's deliverance, praise in advance. Usually you praise God post-eventum, after a intervention. Okay, let's just have a look at that again. My heart will rejoice in your deliverance. I will sing about the Lord because he has treated me well. Okay, notice the change here from the sorrowful heart to the joyful heart. Now, where are we? Okay, so there's the promise of a thank offering after deliverance. The normal sequence is this. In the lament, the psalmist vows, promises, that if God answers his prayers, then he will return to the temple, present a thank offering, and as part of that thank offering, there will be a psalm of thanksgiving in which a musician praises God on behalf of the psalmist, but also there is a thanksgiving meal in which the psalmist invites his honoured guests to rejoice with him and to whom he can bear witness to God's deliverance. So there's the thank offering, very important personal sacrifice or offering in the Old Testament, very important for the New Testament too. Now, what's the cause and content of the song? Is God's generosity. Because God has treated him well. Now, treating well. Now, that's a very clumsy English translation for a word that we have no English equivalent. Gamar. Because we live in a different society. Now, to understand what lies behind the word Gamar, you need to go to a place like New Guinea, where you have the so-called big man culture. In order to become, there's no natural leaders, no inherited, no institutionalized leaders in that kind of tribal society. Well, how do you become a big man, an important man? Well, for us, you become an important man by accumulating assets, wealth, and through assets, wealth, property, you accumulate power, and with power you get status. And then that means that you can make demands on people. But basically for us, power has to do with possessions. Now, in those tribal societies, things work differently. Let's say I want to become a big man with prestige, with glory in my tribe. What do? I work hard, have a lot of pigs, and grow lots of food stuff, and then I hold a sing-sing in which I invite all the people of my tribe, and I provide a feast for them. I kill all my pigs. Now, pigs are the most valuable asset in traditional New Guinean society. You kill them, and instead of eating them yourself or breeding them so you get more and more pigs, more and more assets, what do?
Barbecue pork. You
barbecue them and you give them to people to eat, because eating meat's very rare. You don't normally eat meat there, and you give your meat away. But that's so with everything. The more you have, you accumulate more in order to give more away. Why? What?
Gain favour.
Yeah, you gain favour. Okay, now you gain favour and you put people under obligation. Can you see the way it works? You put people under obligation to you. They become your clients. They become indebted to you. And in that society, okay, there's no way they can pay you back in kind by giving you pigs and by holding a feast, because they don't have lots of pigs. They have only enough pigs to keep themselves going, their family going. So how do you repay?
By your obedience, your servitude.
by your servitude, and it's not basically because that society is a very fiercely egalitarian society. You can't make slaves of your fellow slaves. So what do you want of those people?
Fealty.
What?
Fealty and honour.
Yeah, go on. Develop that.
Honour, respect.
Respect, fealty, honour. Now look, just explore that word, honour. What lies behind that?
How about you as authority?
They look up to you and say, you're what kind of a man?
Authority.
Well, big man. Okay, they speak well of you. They increase your glory or honour by their loyalty to you, by what they say, the way they treat you with respect. So what you gain is the most valuable asset of all, which is not possessions, but you get people's loyalty. Now, the word gamar is used in this kind of context. The Lord has treated me well. He has, now there's a kind of, can you see that New Guinea is a payback society, but we see only the negative side of it, which is that if somebody does something wrong to you, what will you do? You pay them back. So if they attack you, you attack them, and you double measure. So you kill, your enemy kills one of your family, what do? You kill two of theirs, or you wipe out the whole tribe, preferably. Payback society. And we see the negative side of payback, and it's a very powerful mechanism. But we don't see this other side, which is really the positive side, which is that you invest not in property and possessions, but you invest in people's loyalty. Now, that's the word here. It can be too, so I've translated his keeping well, but it can also be avenge a person, to reward a person. Sometimes you can translate this as reward, but not reward for services rendered, but reward in order to obtain loyalty. So it's a different kind of a reward system. Okay. Now, one last thing. What is it that God, as a God of grace and mercy, the God of Israel, who is gracious and merciful, loving and all that we had a look at in Exodus chapter 34, what is it that God wants most from his people?
Praise and thanksgiving.
Their praise and thanksgiving. Now, does he require their praise and thanksgiving for himself? No, because praise and thanksgiving, praise is primarily not addressed to God, but addressed to other people. Got to see this big man thing? The primary thing is not addressed to the person directly. You don't flatter them all the time and say you're a big guy, but what you do, you tell others about him. Okay, what does God want from his people? His people who advertise, if I can use modern terms, his grace and mercy to each other and the world. To give him a good name, to glorify his name. Can you see where this terminology comes from? To magnify his name, to make his name known, etc. Okay, so the picture here is of God as the benefactor of the psalmist. That's the closest that we get to. There's something like this in Roman society where you had patrons and clients. By the way, if you get half a chance, read up about this, because this is very helpful in understanding the New Testament and the early church. Patron, the big man. The client is the person who is indebted to the big man. There's quite a few places in the New Testament you get this kind of imagery is used of Jesus, God as the patron, and we as the clients who depend on him for charity, grace, mercy, benevolence, patronage, benefaction.
Well, oh Lord, have mercy.
Lord have mercy is the not so is a beggar's cry, but then puts you in the position of becoming a patron, and then you become the client of the patron. So the system of patronage, which still survives in some parts of the world, and is very, very strong in places like Japan, and I think China too, but Japan, you have this system of patronage is very, very strong. That's a developed system of this kind of basic tribal payback society. So what's the response? The appropriate response? What shall I offer to the Lord for all his benefits to me, his bounty to me? Okay, the answer is praise. Thanksgiving and praise. Now, any questions on that psalm before we go to the next psalm? Okay, I've given you a handout on the function, the nature and function of vows in the New Testament. Please read that for yourselves. It's kind of background material. Now, Psalm 57, which is a very interesting lament. Now, I hope you've all got your own version of this. This is not all that clear, but I wanted to get it on one page. Lamanatseach, belonging to the choir director, Al Tashquaith, do not destroy. Very funny title, do not destroy. Le David Miktam. A miktam is an inscription. Vevor Orcho, when he was escaping, Mipanei Shaul, from Saul, from the face of Saul, Ba'me'ara, in the cave. So that's a very complicated heading there, lots of information. The psalm starts with verse 2. Honaini Elohim, Honaini. Does that ring a bell? Honaini? Great God being Hanun, gracious. Be gracious or merciful, O God, be merciful. Ki vecha. Notice the emphatic there. For in you, kasaya, I have taken refuge, or not I have taken refuge, nafshi, my soul has taken refuge. Now this is a complicated picture because I've taken refuge. I've taken refuge with my nefesh, which means my throat. What have I done? I've taken refuge by what I say. So with my throat, with my speaking, in my speaking, with myself, I've taken refuge in you. Uvetzel kenafecha echser, and under the shadow of your wings, I am taking refuge, or I will take refuge. Notice the change of tense here, perfect to imperfect. So I have taken refuge, and I am taking refuge, and I will take refuge. Av yavor havoth. Now this may be probably a singular rather than a plural, the way it's pointed here. I've explained that in the handout. Until disaster or destruction passes. Havoth, a very general term. Any kind of disaster passes by. Echra lelohim elyon. I cried to God the Most High. Elyon, think in terms of a pantheon of gods, pecking order. El Elyon is the highest God, the chief God, the supreme God, the head of the pantheon. Le'el gover alai. Notice here you get this, gamer, you get the same verb. To God Most High, to God who treats me well or rewards me or deals well with me. It could be who avenges me. One of the duties of a patron, but also the big man, is to protect his followers. Ishlach mishamayim, may he send, I think this is here Joseph, may he send from heaven. Actually, the basic sense is may he reach from heaven. Shalach, once again, you can see the way Hebrew works. Starts off very concretely. Shalach is to stretch out your hand. Stretch out your hand. So may he reach from heaven. Okay, can be stretching out the hand. But then it's also to send, because when you send a messenger, what do? What's the gesture of sending? You take your hand and you stretch it out. Okay? So you can reach out, you can reach out to help, and you can send. Can you see the range of meaning here? And you'll see the two different senses at work here. May he reach from heaven, simple wow here, where Yoshienu, in order to save or rescue me. Heiref, show afi. May he, or he rebukes, or he has rebuked the one who hounds me. Now, to sha'af is first of all to pant. What is it that pants?
Dog.
A dog. When does a dog pant?
It's
Running. And it to pant after something means to chase in order to kill. Can you see the picture at work here? He rebukes the one who hounds me. Tsela, pause, interlude, some musical term. I won't spend any time on it because we basically don't know what it means. Now you get the secondary sense of shalach. Yishlach Elohim kasto ve'amitho. Not may he reach, but here this is may he reach from heaven to save me from the one who hounds me. May he send, may God send his loving kindness and his faithfulness. They are his messengers that God sends in order to save me. The double sense. Nafshi vetoch levaim. My soul is in the midst of lions. Ishkeva lo hatim b'nei adam. Let me lie, or I am lying. My soul, with my soul, I am lying in the midst of lions, or I lie in the midst of lions, a break. I sleep. And then you get, this is hard to construe. This is either the flaming ones or the devouring ones of the sons, those devouring or flaming the sons of Adam. So I lie in the midst of lions. My soul is in the midst of lions. I lie there. And then you have the lions, understood here, the ones who devour the sons of Adam. A compressed expression. Now, what's about the sons of Adam? Shenehim hanith. Their teeth are spear. Vehitsim, and arrows. So their teeth are spear and arrows. Uleshonam, and their tongue, herev chada, is a sharp sword. And then you get a strange jump. Ruma, be high above the heavens, al hashamayim Elohim, al kol haaretz kevothecha. Now, this can be construed in two ways. The most likely is that Ruma is to govern both these parts. Be high, O God, over the heavens, and be high over all the earth with your glory. Or you could translate that second part, may your glory be over all the earth. That's least likely. Now we go back to the lions. Resheth heikinu amai. A net they have spread or prepared for my feet. Trapping animals. Kanaf nafshi, my soul or myself lies low or is bowed low. So there's a net stretched for my feet. I'm trapped in that net, and that trap has brought my throat to the down low. Karu lefanai shicha, they have dug a pit before me. Nafelu betocha, they have fallen in it themselves. They have fallen into it. Now you get another shift. Nakon Levi Elohim, Nakon Levi. Notice this is double duty. My heart is ready or prepared or steady. O Lord, my heart is ready. Ashira va'atsamera. Let me sing. Let me make music. Ura kevodhi. Wake, O my glory. Ura, awake. Now, is it my glory awake, or does awake here govern the following? Both are possible. Awake, hanevel, O harp, bekinor, O lyre and, O harp and lyre. A'ira shachar. Let me awaken the dawn. Shachar. Oh, sorry. Let me awaken the dawn. Odecha be'amim Adonai. I will give thanks or confess. You, O Adonai, my Lord, among the nations, Atsamerecha, that's quite a mouthful. I will make music among the ethnic groups, the peoples. This is two ethnic terms, so it's not goyim, which is the political term. Ki gadol ad hashamayim kastecha. For he is great, or you are great, for you know, because your loving kindness is great up to the heavens, as far as the heavens, and up to the skies, your emeth, your faithfulness. And then you get a repeat of verse 6, be high above the heavens, O God, be high with your glory over all the earth. Very puzzling psalm, because it seems to be, on the face of it, rather disjointed. Notice the basic structural feature here is the repetition of a refrain. Here, verse 6 and verse 12. Let's just go through it, and then we'll have an early break, and then we'll have a look at the interpretation of it. Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me. Notice that pivot here, the repetition, that goes, have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me. This is sort of, it's a hinge function there. In you my soul takes refuge, or has taken refuge, in the shadow of your wings I take refuge until disaster passes. Now, the shadow of your wings, wings, bird, but you need to understand everywhere in the ancient world, the sun is symbolized in this way. You find that everywhere in the Orient. Now, you get a combination of two things. You have the sun, always where you get that round, that's a symbol for the sun. The circle's a symbol for the sun, and this is a symbol for wings. Okay, now,
He's talking about nighttime?
Yes. Now, just to get this symbol here, in what way is the sun like a bird with wings?
Flies away.
It flies across the sky. It creates warmth and gives shelter and life and protection to everything under it, like a bird. Now, that's a stock symbol, stock picture, a combination of two pictures, sun and light and warmth and nurturing mother hen bird. Under the shadow of your wings I take refuge until disaster passes me. Now, notice here that it's night time, that's a situation, and you act as if it's daytime. I call to God Most High, to God who deals well with me. May he reach, or may he send from heaven to save me, challenging, rebuking the one who hounds me. So haraf is to challenge somebody to battle, the war cry like the Kiwis with the playing rugby. So it's a rebuke, it's a challenge, it's a provocation. Challenging, rebuking the one who hounds me. So how does God deal with the enemies? By verbally. May God send out his loving kindness and his faithfulness. They are his two soldiers, sent to rescue the psalmist. My soul is in the midst of lions. I lie in the midst of, understood, those who devour the sons of Adam. And the devour, the idea is not just to devour, eat, but it has the idea of fire. So flames that devour. So you get a picture of flaming fire that eats. The sons of Adam. Notice Adam here rather than sons of man, because this is the whole of humanity spoken about, whose teeth are spears and arrows and whose tongue is a sharp sword. Be high, O God, above the heavens, be high with your glory over all the earth. They, who's the they? The lion.